I've taken a little over 50K in payouts in the past 2 months.
What was like a typical trading day for you?
Before joining PB, I just thought I could roll over out of bed and, go make some money by clicking the button. I very quickly realized that this is not happening. After joining PB, I saw it was mainly the discipline that you guys had consistently.
What is good, everyone? Blake here. Today I'm sitting down with one of my PB trading students. His name is Jonathan. We're going to break down his journey. We're not just going to talk about his payouts and the money made, but actually what changed in his trading to get to this point. We're going to talk about where he was at before, what he struggled with, and how he went from being, inconsistent trader to actually taking multiple payouts from multiple prop firms consistently. And yeah, this is a real trader. This is real numbers, and this is the real process. So let's get into it. Tell the people who you are and how many payouts you've taken so far.
Hi, guys. I'm Jonathan. I'm from Queens, New York. I'm 22, and I've taken a little over 50K in payouts in the past 2 months.
Holy guacamole. That's insane. All right, so people know the results. I want to rewind now a little bit. For people who don't know you, tell me and tell the people, how long have you been trading, and what did your journey look like before joining PB?
I've been trading now for around 3 years. I was unprofitable for a decent amount of time, probably like around 2 years. And after joining PB, I was able to watch them live trade, and they instilled good habits into me, and they showed me what the process of what a real profitable live trader actually looks like. What do the executions look like, their thought process, everything.
So I want to talk about now, I guess, like the before and after, like what that really looked like. I guess, again, like before, where were you mentally? Where were you like consistency wise and results wise versus where are you at now?
I feel like there's multiple stages in terms of your overall journey and becoming profitable. So in the beginning, where I was unprofitable, it was just blown accounts, over trading, not managing risk properly. And over time, I started having better trades, better trade executions, right? I would be able to catch, 100-point moves. And the thing was that separated unprofitable me to profitable me was simply just having less losers. So I didn't really necessarily need more winners, but it was a lot of money that I gave back to the market, right? Just through bad psychology.
100%. And how did you fix that? I like completely get what you're saying, bro, because a lot of people know how to take winners, but people also just don't know how to take losers or don't know how to minimize those losses. Like for me personally, my win rate was around like 50%. I remember when I was first trading, right? And I struggled a lot with just taking a lot of unnecessary trade. And the one thing for me that just completely flipped that switch was just journaling, right? So just like journaling all my trades and just realizing the mistakes I'm making. Were you someone that journaled? Do you still journal to this
Yeah,
day?
I honestly think that journaling was the tipping point from me being break even to actually becoming profitable, right? Because from journaling, I was forced to sit down with myself and actually review the slight little tweaks that needed to be made in order for me to sustain that profitability. I remember journaling a lot about having patience within the market, not over trading, managing my risk properly. Watching you guys live trade and seeing certain sessions where, it's just low probability conditions, and seeing you guys not take a trade, you know what I mean? And seeing a lot of people go in and say, I have to take a trade, I have to make money today. You can get very caught up in just the P&L, right? But overall, we want to be treating trading as a long-term sustainable thing, right? This is a marathon, not a sprint.
100%.
Right. So we want to be able to preserve capital for higher probability conditions. And seeing you guys not take a trade was like, I remember the first session, you guys were just got off for the day. It was like maybe like 10:30. You guys just like, oh yeah, session's done. I'm gonna continue on with my life. Don't be degenerates, get off the charts, basically, you guys said. To me, that was like crazy to me. I was like, wow, like this is really it. The workday is done. I guess we just show up tomorrow, right? And I was like, wow, this is really like what profitable trading looks like. They're not trying to scalp for a little trade here, trying to get a winning day there, Yeah, I could talk more about being unprofitable. I was unprofitable for so long, Blake, you have no idea. Honestly,
100%.
the tipping point, it was honestly similar to your tipping point, right? In the sense that, mind you guys had given us like a lot of psychology tip for the entire Discord, not just me. Like you guys answered every question very thoroughly, and it was actually always very genuine. And it came to a point where you were telling us, if you're not able to follow your rules and stick to your strategy consistently, then you don't really want it. All you really need to tell yourself is, hey, if I listen to my rules and I know I have a profitable system, I can make X amount of money in a certain amount of time. But it's the idea that you want it now, which prohibits you from actually succeeding.
Yeah. I just want to say also, first off, guys, we aren't doing live trading anymore, but we did used to do live trading back then,
Yeah, yeah,
and the premium. That was a time, bro. I honestly am thinking about like bringing that back because I do hear a lot of people say that that helped them look at the charts. For example, you're saying that it's helped you a lot, but yeah, people act like you need to trade every single day in order to make money. And especially as a beginner, that's a common misconception that if you're not trading every day or, you don't see that progress, or if you don't win on the day, if you don't have a loss on the day, if you don't have a break even, you feel like you haven't done anything. But I'm telling you, like, just that patience in general is so, so huge for your psychology and for you to be a long-term trader. For
yeah,
example, me in January, I think I've taken like 3 4 trades in the month, and I'm probably honestly going to be done probably trading for the year now that we have Christmas. And this is the
yeah,
reality of a trader, is that you don't trade every single day. You trade, and I feel like, I don't know if you can relate to this, but the more and more I became like, more consistent with my trading and the more profitable I guess I became, the less I've been, inputting. And
yeah,
like you were saying, like, I'll just get off at like 10:30. If I don't see what I'm wanting to see in the charts, then I'm getting off. There's
yeah,
no point in staying on. And 100%, I remember like always, and I still am always instilling this into, every one of my students, is like really that, how bad do you want it? I feel like a lot of people can't grasp them not being profitable with trading. Me, for example, like, I guess I had my back against the wall pretty much this whole entire time, right? And I feel like that's with a lot of people where, you start off trading, and I was failing all my classes, right? I was failing, college completely. And really, trading was the only thing that I had that I could truly envision and seeing myself doing down the line, right?
yeah,
And when I would blow accounts, and when I would be not consistent with myself, and I would just be, untrue to myself, I would just sit back and really ask myself, like, how bad do I want this? Like, do I really want to go to, going to the shitty job, working at this corporate office every single day, or do I actually want to live the dream life that I know I deserve, right? So it's really like, how bad do you want it? Can you just stick to your rules? Can you just stick to your plan? And that's sick that that was like a similar like tipping
yeah.
point for you. What would you say is like a typical day for you before like joining PB and like before trading with us, and before being in the community? For me, for example, I feel like, well, when I was like unprofitable, I was trading every single session possible. I would trade New York AM session
Yeah.
from 9:30 to 11. I'll then get off for maybe 30 minutes, and while I'm off the charts, I'm like still on my phone checking the charts,
Yeah.
trading, going back to my computer at 12, trading until like 5 p.m. I swear to God, it was like really bad, not even joking. Like, I would trade all day every day nonstop,
Yeah.
even have alarm set for London session, bro. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I would trade London session at like 2 a.m. So that might not be for you, but I just want to know what was like a typical trading day for you.
Before joining PB, it was
Yeah.
honestly, I just thought I could roll over out of bed and, go make some money by clicking the button. And, I very quickly realized that this is not happening. You have to remember who you're competing with, right? You're competing with people who do this for a living, right? They go to Wall Street, these people who work at hedge funds, people who get degrees in this is their full-time profession. And in order for you to make business money, you have to take it seriously, right? In order for it to pay like a business, you have to treat it like a business. And yeah, I just wasn't taking it seriously. I thought it was easy. I was showing up, bare minimum. I would roll over 9:28. I remember I would have my alarm 9:28. I'd roll over. I'm like, oh, a minute is all I need, right, to go brush my teeth, whatever. Come sit down at the charts and immediately just start clicking buttons. And it's like, I'm so out of touch with the market. Like, long term, it was just completely unprofitable. Yeah, after joining PB, I saw it was mainly the discipline that you guys had consistently, right? And I would see the way you guys would show up to the markets. You guys had already been awake for a few hours. You had already showered, got sunlight in your eyes. Now it's like, before coming into market open, I've already walked my dog. I've had my coffee, and, I've got the sunlight in my eyes. I'm not rolling over out of bed treating this like, like a spin on the wheel, like it's the casino. No.
Exactly. Yeah. To become a profitable trader, you have to start acting like one already, like you were
Yeah.
saying. And really, to become successful in anything, right? You need to act like you already are at that point.
Yeah.
What are the traits and characteristics that future you is doing? That's the
Yeah.
main thing that you have to be thinking about now, especially when you're unprofitable, because if you're not doing those things, then how do you expect to get there? So that's really sick. Yeah, I mean, again, I tell this to people all the time, like, you need to wake up early. You cannot just roll out of bed. I was doing that too, but I would wake up 1 minute before market open, boogers in my eyes, like looking at
Yeah.
the charts, completely
Yeah.
fucking lost,
Yeah.
having no idea, right? But, waking up early and actually, viewing the markets, writing out, if then statements,
Yeah.
and having an actual plan coming to the day, having your brain be fresh, it's so, so crucial for your psychology and also for your technical analysis when you're trading. I'm really happy that that's what changed in you since joining PV. Did you have like a specific trade or like, well, I guess like a realization where things like really, really clicked for you? I know we kind of like touched on that already.
Yeah. There was definitely
Yeah.
one specific moment where I was really unprofitable. Like peak unprofitability, that was me right there.
Wait, sorry. I also haven't asked you how long have you been trading for?
So I originally started looking into what trading was like around 3 years ago, but like taking it seriously, it's probably been closer to like a year and a half, 2 years. Yeah, over the
Cool.
past few months, we've been seeing the
Yeah.
results that made up for all the time that I've put in, right? And more. This peak of unprofitability was essentially me taking the money that I worked for, right? And just taking that money and throwing it into funded accounts, into evals, right? And there was one specific day where I've completely forgot the reason why I tilted, but I 100% tilted. And I tilted so hard, I was buying new accounts and blowing them like instantly. It was the most insane thing like you could ever imagine. I would literally buy multiple accounts and start in over leverage completely because I was like, you know what? I'm the market maker. The price has to go exactly where I tell it to go. And yeah, that's just not what happened. I got humbled very quickly. And it was that day where I was thinking of what you had told us. Yeah, I genuinely sat down with myself in the mirror and I was like, do I even really want this? Right? Because I know what I'm doing wrong. I know what I should be doing. And if I'm not able to follow my rules, then honestly, I don't deserve it. You know what I mean? At this point, I was about to graduate college. I was pre-med in college, so I was intending to go to medical school. But at the time, it didn't seem like the risk to reward was worth it, in the sense that I would have to sacrifice so much time in order to reach the amount of, obviously I'm helping people, right? But in terms of salary, we see other traders making this in a week, in a day potentially, right? So that idea and the numbers that I'm seeing too, I was trying to explain to my parents too, like, this is what I want to do. I don't really see myself doing anything else. It was at the point where I didn't even want to go to college anymore. I wanted to drop out. I was like, you know what, I'm done with this. I didn't drop out. They didn't let me. They were like, this is your plan B. And I was like, I don't want a plan B. Trading is plan A, and that's it. Right. So I was in the position where I was about to graduate college and basically I needed something to show for all the effort that I was putting in trading. Right. And I had my back against the wall because realistically, if this didn't work out, then I would have to go get a job. Right. Very scary word right there. We don't say that too lightly.
Censor that, editor. Censor
We don't
that.
like that one. But yeah, it was at the point where I was like, I might have to actually go get a job, and I'm like, I really don't want that. And for me, it was honestly growing up and working those jobs. I don't know if you know, in New York City, the ice cream trucks.
No. No,
So
enlighten me.
so basically, one of my friend's father is one of the partial owners of the ice cream truck business. So he was able to hook us up. He got us jobs there, and I was using the money from that job to fund my trading. Right. And I was only doing that job over the summer because I was in school for the rest of the year. And there was something about having to go in every day. It was actually, I remember very specifically, I showed up on my boss's phone and his contact name for me was my name and then in parentheses driver. And I don't know why, but just the thought, just the idea that I was simply just like a driver, it like really irritated me. And I was like, no, like, and that's actually when I first started learning how to trade. And it was around that time
That's sick.
TJR dropped his boot camp. So I was watching the boot camp videos as they were coming out while I'm selling ice cream. And I'm like, I gotta make something happen here, right? Like we gotta lock in. This is gonna be a long journey. Like I might as well put my head down and have this high income skill that's gonna pay me for the rest of my life. Yeah, here we are today. I decided that's what I want to do, and it's actually crazy we're on a call right now, not gonna lie.
That is crazy. Well, that's a crazy story, bro.
Yeah.
That's so cool to hear. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, I kind of had like that similar start, I guess, of just like, I mean, I feel like everyone's always like worked a job, but like, I guess having your man, like someone tell you what to do
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
sets you off.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're someone that's just, an entrepreneur, like deep down, you want to be your own boss,
Yeah.
having that
Yeah.
would piss me
No,
off too.
and you
So
can't
that's
do
rad,
that
bro.
in the ice cream business. Yeah, I'm going to wherever they tell me to go, right? And even so, it's not like I can force people to buy ice cream. What am I supposed to do? Just start yelling at them? Yo, come spend your money here. Like, no, like I don't decide how much I'm gonna get paid, right? And that was something that where I was like, okay, like, I want to at least have some type of influence on the amount of money that I'm making, right? I don't feel like I should be working a 9 to 5 until I'm 65 years old and then I get to enjoy my life. Like, no, I want to live my life now. I want to enjoy my life now while I'm young, and I want to continue to enjoy my life, right?
I'm curious to know now, what do your parents think about you trading? Are you trading full time or what's up with
Yeah,
that?
I am now. I'm trading full time. My dad doesn't know, honestly. He has no
Mhm.
idea. He'll probably see this video if it comes out.
All right.
My mom, on the other hand, she knows, but in her head, it's still very unstable. And so at this point, she's telling me to go to law school and go be a lawyer as a plan B. Which who really knows if that's gonna happen? I mean, the option is there. Right, if I ever did decide that I need to further my education. But yeah, from the beginning, my dad never really wanted me to trade. I told him from the beginning, he was just like, no, what are you doing? It's a waste of time. You're going to lose money. I know a lot of people who lost money because he is a financial advisor and he's been in finance for decades now. So I come to him the ripe age of like maybe like 18 years old, and I'm like, hey, dad, yeah, I'm gonna trade, and that's just what I'm gonna do. Yeah, not going to medical school anymore. I don't know why we're paying for college anymore, and you could guess how that went. He wasn't really too happy, but yeah, I just had to, not only prove it to them, but prove it to myself that this is genuinely possible, right? Anybody is able to go out there and actually do whatever they put their minds to, right?
I think that's like the hardest thing, bro. Even me, like telling my parents, telling really any of your loved ones in general, they are not going to be open to the fact that you are doing something that is risky, right?
Yeah,
They love you. They want the best for you.
yeah,
So, for example, like school, right? I was going to school. I was doing computer science. And to them,
hmm,
that was like the safe route. That's what
yeah,
they wanted me to do, right? And I would get a safe job off that. Looking back at that, if I would have stuck with computer science,
yeah,
I would not even have a job
yeah.
right now.
Not at
Like
all.
that job market is completely cooked.
Yeah,
So that's the thing. Like you really have to choose your own path in life, and whatever's calling to you, whatever you really truly deep down enjoy, and whatever you truly want, go for that and go all fucking in on that, and really like try to make it impossible for you to fail. And yeah, I mean, again, that's really sick, bro. Like I'm happy. This is actually so funny. Like I had the same exact problem. I made like six figures in college, right?
hmm,
I'm trading. And I didn't tell my parents. And I remember like talking with Pat about it. He's like, bro, like, why haven't you told your parents yet? And I'm just like, dude, like, I don't know. I just don't want to tell them. Like,
yeah,
I just want to keep shit to myself for
yeah.
now. So that's funny, bro. Like,
Wait,
same exact
they'll
situation.
see once we upgrade the lifestyle, and
Exactly,
yeah, they
exactly.
don't need
Like,
to know right
touching
now.
my first 100K, like, that didn't mean
Yeah,
shit. At the
yeah,
time, I was like, bro,
yeah.
there's
We
bigger
still gotta
goals.
pay taxes on that money too. Like they could wait a little bit. There's
Exactly.
no rush for them to
Exactly.
know.
Can you break down your payouts? Like, when was your first payout? How long did it take you to get there? How many payouts have you gotten after that? Really, what those milestones meant to you personally?
Okay, so I guess like my first payout was a payout across 5 accounts, and
Hmm.
that was on September 30th for 10.2K. So
Sick.
I remember the number being like 2.5 something per account, and it just happened to be 10K. I didn't attempt to go for that number just because it was a nice round number. No, it just happened to be 10.2K. And I was like, all right, cool, like I got my first payout, nice, let's keep the ball rolling. Shortly after, I got my second payout on October 22nd, and that was for around 22K. And then it was my birthday on November 2nd, so I turned 22. I think 3 days after my birthday, I ended up taking another payout of 25K. In total, it was very quick. I made all the money that I had lost over the past 2, 3 years and more within a very short time frame. It definitely messed with my psyche a little bit, knowing that I was able to do that. So I had to sort of like check myself and make sure the risk management was there and not get too overconfident. Yeah, December's been pretty slow. I'm not really looking to take any more payouts for the end of this year because then we got to pay taxes in April. So I'm just waiting until next year, and then I have another payout lined up for the beginning of next year.
Sick, bro. How much money do you think you spent on evaluations, well, I guess in your unprofitable phase?
Probably like $2,000, $3,000, no more than five. I did try to, get the discounts wherever I could get them, but yeah, no more than five.
I probably had about the same. Actually, yeah, probably a little more. Probably more so, like 5,000 around that. But all it really takes is like one good
Yeah.
month of trading and one good month where you're like actually locked in. You will make back all
Oh
of
yeah.
those years of fucking hell where
Yeah.
you're blowing money on firms. Like that, like it's so true.
Yeah.
Like I literally remember like my first like really profitable month, like completely wiped out all of the money I spent on evals, shitted on it, right?
Yeah.
So that's like the thing, like that's really all it takes again is like one good month, honestly,
Yeah.
one good week, really. Like
Yeah.
with
I
majority
mean,
of firms
that
now, bro,
that
it's like all money
25K
day.
payout was from six days, 6 trading days.
Yeah,
And
exactly, right? So
that's just all it took. It was a week,
mhm.
realistically. It was a week, which is
Yeah,
insane to think about because average wage in the country is like what, 55K? The fact that you
making money
guys
a week.
provided the environment to show that this is even possible was like mind blowing to me. The way that I found out about PB, it's actually
Mhm.
hilarious. I found out through my brother, right? So I started trading first. My brother had seen me trading and he was like, "Oh, like what is that? Da da da, whatever." My brother is 4 years younger than me. My brother busts out of his room one day, kicks the door down. Boom! He comes out. He goes, "PDI, PDI, PDI." I'm like, "Yo, like, what are you talking about? Like, what the hell is PDI?" He's like, "Bro, you have no idea. I just figured it out. I found the method." And it was
No.
that from that point I joined PB, and yeah, the mech model PDI, bread and butter. We love it, love it so much.
That's so good.
It was overall, honestly, the fact that you guys had a narrative to every single trade, right? So there was a thought process, there was reasoning behind the stop, reasoning behind the entry, reason behind the take profit, and it made sense. Everything leading up to before this was simply me trying to understand the trading knowledge, me understanding like what confluences there are in the market, right? Just overall learning how to read price action. But I didn't really understand like how to fully put it together. And it was after PB I was like, wow, like this is insane. I'm like, I see inverse, I enter straight to TP every time. I'm like, oh my God, this is mind blowing. Literally every time. It was the fact that we had an insane win rate, and trading these fundeds, you want to have a high win rate. For your psych too, it just feels good to win more trades than you're losing, right? Taking that win, getting off for the day, and just understanding, like, oh, I'm just going to come back and do it again tomorrow. Like, nothing is stopping me. The markets are still going to be there. And honestly, if the markets aren't there, well, we got bigger problems to worry about.
Yeah. PDI, the Mac model, right? These models we teach, like you were saying, I like it so much just because, like you were saying, it makes sense,
Yeah,
right? To the average person, like you can understand the reasoning behind these models, right? Price needs to rebalance inefficiencies,
yeah,
price needs to accumulate, manipulate, distribute, right? All of these things make sense and you can pick up on the strategy very quickly. And before, like I was trading EMAs, I was trading like all these random indicators, EMA crossover, VWAP, all that stuff. And it just never made sense to me. It's like, why should the market move here, right? Like
yeah,
logically, I do not understand. So I'm just taking trades just because I see the EMA crossover on the 30 and
yeah,
I'm like, I'm just completely
yeah,
lost at the end of the day. Or I'm, marking out
yeah,
my support and resistance and it's like, there's no logic behind
yeah,
it. But like you were saying with these models, bro, like it genuinely, you can understand it. So you can understand your losses.
yeah,
You can write down why this trade lost. And that just
100%.
instantly, bro, your win rate just starts skyrocketing the more you understand your model, right? And the more you understand your
Yeah.
trades. That's so
Like when I
crazy. How's
first
your
started,
brother?
I was looking what even is trading. I actually started with options, but I ended up leaving it because I didn't
Yeah.
understand like really how to calculate my stop, and I just thought it was too difficult considering all the Greeks. But I'm
Yeah,
looking
same.
at how different people trade. I'm like, support and resistance, like why is price gonna bounce off of the random line you drew on the chart? Like why does that even matter? Or like a falling wedge or any of those other like chart patterns. I was just like, okay, like you're showing me one chart pattern and the next one is just the complete opposite. So what you're showing me like doesn't even work. Like the market's gonna do whatever it wants. Like I don't even know what we're looking at. And I remember going through it, I'm like, how do people actually trade this? They're like, oh yeah, I see a falling pizza out of the sky. It's like, bro, what are we even talking about here? There's a lot of emphasis in the models on the four ways that market moves. So the market moves, one, to hunt liquidity, two, to generate liquidity, and like you said, three, to rebalance to inefficiencies, and four, rebalance to equilibrium. Those are the only way the
Yep.
market moves. And combining all four of those, you get the MEC model, you get PDI. It's really that
Mm-hmm.
simple. Number one
It's
main
so
thing
true.
is having the correct draw, right? Having the correct draw on liquidity. If you don't have the correct draw, it doesn't matter how good your entry is. And then obviously after with inverses, the risk to reward is just always there. You're able to get into the move before the move actually happens, right? So you're catching the distribution instead of getting manipulated.
And like you were saying, bro, with like win rate and stuff, like it genuinely is very, very. It's so much better for your psychology. I'll just say
Yeah.
this to have a higher win rate model than like a lower win rate, extremely high RR model.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of people are gravitating towards, the bottom ticking and top ticking trend that we're
Yeah.
seeing on social media and stuff. It does have, and it can have a decent win rate, but it's just different, right? For me,
Yeah.
psychologically, I feel a lot better when I'm taking more wins versus when I'm taking a bunch of losses and then one big win out of nowhere. And also for funded accounts, that's what the majority of people nowadays are trading with. You need to have those consistency rules. You need to have, all those winning days. So just logically, for me personally, like a higher win rate model is just a lot better for psychology wise. But,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, bro, like I'm friends with people. For example, Powell, he trades a model that has an extremely high win rate. I mean, sorry, high RR.
Yeah.
Also, probably high win rate now that he's been, trading them for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But just a really high RR model, right? And it works for him. Is that something that I personally could ever trade? No. Are we both profitable at the end of the day? Yes,
Yeah.
right. So it really comes down to like what you like preference wise, and that's really at the end of the day all that matters.
Yeah.
Like psychology is honestly like something that's just huge in trading.
Yeah.
What do you think changed outside of the charts? I guess like before, walk me through how you were outside of the charts that translated to getting those payouts, and I guess like how life is now outside of the charts after making consistent money trading.
It feels great. I'm able to, go to the gym. The gym workouts are a lot better. I'm able to, take my time. I'm not in school anymore, so I don't have to worry about studying for exams or doing homework, right? And yeah, just overall, I'm able to fully accept that my funded accounts are realistically my business. I'm my most profitable business. So at the end of the day, whatever money I make should just get reinvested back into myself. Overall, it's not really that I'm doing anything different per se, right? Because I needed to line up those good habits before I was even profitable to reach profitability. But at this point now, I feel like I'm able to enjoy the little things a lot more, right? So even just something as simple as my morning routine, like I wake up in the morning, I walk my dog, making my coffee, sipping my coffee before 9:30 market open. It's just like that. I feel like it's honestly like the dream. Like, what else can I really like aspire towards, right? And yeah, I look forward to doing this for a decent amount of time, basically until I can't click the button no more. Just overall use that money to get more experiences with my life, right? So travel the world, be able to make money while I'm traveling. I was actually in DR this past summer. Yeah, me and my brother were trading out in the villa in DR, like overlooking the pool, overlooking, just overall all the farmland. And it's crazy that, especially considering other currencies, right? You're making American US dollars. And the USD holds so much weight, especially, in these third world countries. It's like the amount of numbers, the money that we're seeing is like unfathomable to most people. Yeah, I'm not trying to flex or like, pocket watch or whatever, but it
Yeah.
making money, it always feels good. Especially as a man, like, the two main things you have to do with your life are make money, be healthy, and go to the gym. Right, that solves a majority of your problems as a man. I
That's
understand
so
that long
true.
term, obviously, this is a risk on business, right? It's not like this is risk free. So, the trade frequency, I would like to see it decrease, right? So that way I'm not overall risking consistently in the markets, but we have the skill for the rest of our lives. And, unless they completely change the market algorithm, which, I don't even think is possible, we're going to be doing this. So, yeah, it should be fun.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I honestly have been trading a lot less, but just like putting on more size.
Yeah.
And that's like the point I kind of want to start getting to. It's like just building a bigger and bigger live account,
Yeah.
risking more and more, but trading less and less and
Yeah.
less. Right. And just waiting for like such good opportunity in the markets. And to me, that's just like helped my psych so much. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like a lot of people watching this now, I would tell them to kind of do the opposite when you're a beginner, but risk less, but also trade less. And how do you
Hmm.
trade less? You go into the day, and this is what I tell myself: I am not looking for a trade when I'm coming into the day,
Yeah.
right?
100%.
I'm literally just coming to the day. Like if it presents to me, if it presents itself, right, and if it's the most obvious setup ever, to the point where it's like, if I don't take this, then I'm being an idiot.
Yeah.
Then I'll take the trade,
Yeah.
right? But if it's not like screaming out at me, bro, then I'm not
Yeah.
taking the trade. If it's not obvious, I'm not taking a trade. There's so many people like saying like,
100%.
oh, like post more trade recaps, and it's like there's nothing to recap.
I'm
I
not
didn't trade
trading.
for the day.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing else, bro. Like I'm telling you, like
Yeah.
I don't trade that much,
Yeah.
right? That's honestly like what really changed like my trading,
Yeah.
and what made me such a better trader is just like patience pays, bro. It's
Yeah.
like corny to say, but
100%.
it's like really the truth of the matter is patience pays, especially as a trader, bro. Like you need to be waiting for your setup because
Yeah.
it will be there. Like you were saying, the market will be there tomorrow. It's not going away. There will always be another trading day. There's
Yeah.
always going to be another day where you can catch a banger setup, right?
Yeah.
If it wasn't today, it's probably tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, whatever. It's probably the day after that,
Yeah.
That's good, bro, that you have like that same mindset. And it's really, really important as a trader, especially if you want to be profitable,
Yeah.
right?
So all the beginner traders, you want to reach the point where you're able to look for certain signatures in price, and you should feel that if you don't take the trade, you just don't like money. That's the point you want to reach. You want it to be like so blatantly obvious where it's like, I know exactly what should happen here, right? And I am more than fine with risking this amount of money because I have such high conviction in my model. A lot of beginner traders don't have that level of conviction because of overall market experience, right? They just haven't put enough time in on the charts to say, like, I've seen this so many times where I know it's going to happen, right? A good example that comes to mind is the generation of liquidity. When we have equal lows that are like days apart on a higher time frame, right? And we're having, let's say we have equal lows, right? And we're trading higher. We're just consistently trading higher. I remember you would tell us, you would be like, guys, like these equal lows got generated here for a reason, right? The market is coming back here for a reason. All these people who are longing this, yeah, this is just manipulation. So if you long, yeah, good luck, basically. Yeah, things like that. Like overall, just having that market experience, getting that time in with the charts, regardless of whether you learn the models or not, nobody is going to be able to teach you market intuition. So the only way that you get that is genuinely by sitting there and watching the candles print day in and day out. I just got my trading view wrapped. You know how Spotify does Spotify wrapped? I got my trading view
Bro, how do you
wrapped.
do that?
And it told me that I showed up like 305 days out of the 365 days, which is like
Damn.
insane. I didn't even know that like they did that. It just popped up when I opened trading. Yeah.
What the hell? I didn't get that. What the
Let
fuck?
me send it to you.
That's crazy. That's so cool. I love that you say that like market experience at the end of the day is like that's discretion, right? A lot
Yeah.
of people don't understand sometimes, and it's hard for me to explain sometimes like the trades I take. Sometimes I'm just like it's obvious, and it's like, well, why is it obvious? And I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I've been doing this for 4 years
Yeah.
now. Like I know the market's gonna
Yeah.
go there, or I don't know, but it's like a 90%
Yeah.
chance, right? There's some trades that you're just so confident in, and you just have that experience with that. Then you can start risking up, and that's when trading becomes really, really fun, bro. When you can just start analyzing what setups make this A plus, what makes this,
Yeah.
A, B plus, all that stuff.
And that's honestly
Um,
where I felt like I was developing as a trader, where I was able to understand like where the draw is, right? Where the obvious draw is, and seeing your daily bias match up with my daily bias, right? And overall,
mhm.
just understanding that I'm developing the mindset and the thought process of what a profitable trader is, right? And how we are
Definitely.
looking at the charts.
In terms of like just the PB community, what do you think? Like the one thing that made the biggest difference for you? Do you think it was having structure? Do you think it was your psychology? Do you think it was accountability? For example, I mean, right now, right, in the 1% we have our accountability partners, right?
Mhm.
Because for me, back then, right? When I was like live trading, I feel like I was kind of being held accountable, honestly, by you guys,
Yeah.
right? Where I'm live, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can't fake P&L, I can't fake executions. I
Yeah.
like there's no faking in live trading. Like you're
Yeah.
sitting there and you're trading live for hundreds of people every single day.
Yeah.
So I was, holding myself accountable for, a couple years, and then
Hmm.
I kind of when I stopped live trading, I still felt like I was being held accountable by everyone, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of stuck with me. Those same habits stuck with me. It's been a really, really long time since I've like had a crash out day, because like I genuinely can't, right? I have to
Yeah.
show my P&L for people every single day. So,
Yeah.
there's no room for that. What do you think PB trading made the biggest difference for you?
Yeah, it was definitely the psychology aspect.
Right.
Besides the strategy, like people can make money in the markets in multiple different ways. There's not one correct strategy to the market per se, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
main thing definitely was the psychology, right? My psych was, while I was unprofitable, I, like I said, I was over trading, I was over leveraging, and having to sit down and first of all be even able to ask the question like, what am I doing wrong, and be able to list out all the things that you're doing wrong. It was just like, okay, like there's not much for anybody else to say to you. It realistically is, exactly what you're doing wrong. I remember one time where you were like, I don't know what you guys want me to do. You want me to come to your house and click the button for you? Like, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? You click your own button. And it was like, I was like, okay, like I actually have to respect, the button on my mouse. You know what I mean? I have to take this seriously. I can't actually just, start clicking because I want some dopamine. Like, I can't do that. You know what I mean? You want dopamine? Go get it somewhere else. But definitely don't
Mm-hmm.
look for it inside of the market. Understanding that trading should be boring, right? You're not coming into the day looking for trades. If anything, I'm coming into the markets now and I'm looking for all reasons why I shouldn't take a trade, right? All the reasons why I don't want to put risk on in the market. And like we said, we want it to be blatantly obvious. And that's where you actually are able to use your discretion from that market experience and execute properly.
That's so sick, bro. I'm so happy that translated. Like,
Yeah.
I'm always like telling the people these things,
Oh, yeah.
and I like wonder. I'm like, damn, like is someone like actually out there listening?
Oh, yeah.
And that's
I
so
was
sick,
definitely
bro.
listening.
That
Like
you
the
took
I've
that, and now
asked
you're
you
fucking.
so many questions, like over the years, so many questions. And not once did you ever make me feel like, it was a stupid question or like I'm doing something wrong. Like you always genuinely wanted to help, and that's what it made me stay in the community, honestly. It was just great. I felt like you and Patty were always there. You guys always wanted the best for us. Because I've been with you guys from the OG days. I've been with you guys when you were charging $50 to $75 to $100. I would pay $100 still. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that was an invaluable amount of money for the amount of education I was getting, right? Even at this point, it's like, wow, bro, like the amount of just value is insane. Like, you guys can honestly be charging a lot more, like, which is even crazy to even think about, right? But
I've been in your exact shoes. You've been in my exact shoes. Everyone's been in that unprofitable stage. Like you were saying, bro, you were like telling me about that time where you were just like, you bought an account, blew it, bought another account, blew it.
yeah,
And you were just in that like crazy state of mind.
yeah,
I was in that same exact
yeah.
state of mind. I've been through that exact
Like full
thing,
tilt,
right?
full tilt.
So,
Nobody was stopping me from blowing accounts,
exactly.
from buying
Exactly.
more accounts just to blow 'em. Like,
Exactly.
nobody was stopping me there.
So no, but like when people are saying things like asking me a question, I'm not gonna say like, oh, that's a stupid question, because bro, I've been in your exact shoes.
Yeah,
Like I understand. Like
yeah,
like it's completely fine. Like again, like it's not a stupid question. Ask me what a fair value gap is, bro. I'll answer it, bro. If you ask me what an SMT is, bro, there's gonna be some people in
yeah,
the
yeah.
chat like, really, bro, but I'll answer
No,
that
yeah.
question.
I feel like
Um,
SMTs were probably one of the hardest things I had to learn.
really,
Like the hardest confluence, just being able to, number one, where do I even start looking for them?
yeah.
What does it even look like? And obviously seeing you do it live time, now it's like, okay, I understand. Like, this SMT actually holds value, right? Because there's SMTs everywhere, you know what I mean? But only
Mhm.
certain ones are high probability and hold a certain amount of value. Yeah, like we said, that's completely market experience, right? Nobody's gonna sit there and hold your hand and tell you like, oh yeah, good SMT, good job,
Yeah.
nice. Like, no, it's not happening.
All right, that's sick, bro. Looking 6 months to a year ahead, how confident do you feel now compared to before? And what are you aiming for next? I guess, what are your goals in the future?
This is a crazy question. Crazy. Bro, because just at the beginning of this year, like, I started actually writing down my goals. Like I wrote in my journal, like, I want to be able to trade successfully. Like I want to be hanging with the right people. I want to make, a certain amount of money this month. And all of those goals were just like blown out of the water. Things I thought like weren't even possible. I'm like, yo, like 10K a month. Yo, 10K a month sounds pretty good. Like that's five figures. Like, holy shit. And, very quickly those goals, they got completely ran. I honestly can't even tell you the next 6 months. Like, I have no idea. Overall, I'm hoping that these good habits are here to stay, right? And we continue executing nicely within these markets and, we continue to do get paid. Besides that, I'm looking at moving out to a little apartment complex by,
That's a good goal.
I don't know if you know the Pepsi Cola sign, but it's like right on the other side of the river overlooking Manhattan. And
Bro, I've only been in New York like twice, honestly. I'm not too sure.
no, you gotta.
But that's sick, bro. That sounds nice.
No, yeah, should be nice. Move out, bring Apollo. Let me bring Apollo in here. Give him a
Bring
guest
it over.
appearance.
But yeah, I mean,
He's a
like in
little
terms of
mush.
goals, I also don't like setting myself like these monetary goals. So I guess, yeah, like that was the question I was more so getting was like what inputs you're putting in to get to your goals. Like me, for example, I want to keep sticking to my rules every single day, day in and day out. Like that's a
Yeah,
huge goal to just have that, maybe, start scaling. That's also like a goal. But like having these inputs, because at the end of the day, bro, trading is a game of like, you could even have like an A plus setup present itself. You can take that trade and it be a loss, right? Does that mean you did something wrong though at the end of the day? No. Does that mean you didn't hit your goal for that day of making this X amount of money? No, right?
yeah.
Your goals at the end of the day, every day for trading should just be, did you follow your rules? Yes. And if you keep doing that every single day, then you will get paid at the end. That's sick that like you don't have like those types of goals, like
No,
those
yeah.
monetary
I
goals, and
mean,
more so just goals like
honestly, in that aspect, the only difference between the amount of money I'm making now and the amount of money I'm gonna make in the future is I'll just be trading with more accounts, right?
exactly just scaling.
Just scaling the accounts, running Trade Syncer in the background and doing the exact same thing. And that's honestly what got me into trading in the first place was understanding that this is infinitely scalable, right? The only difference
Yeah,
between me making $100 and the next guy making $10,000 is he just had more size, right? We could have been entered in the
literally.
same exact trade, same entry, same stop, same take profit, and he just has more size. So, obviously you don't want to scale too quickly, right? That's one thing that I keep in the back of my head. But overall, yeah, once you have it down packed and you're no longer committing those bad habits that you were committing before, just scaling it comes with due time. There's no rush. I remember the thought process of I just need to get this one payout and it'll all be great. I'll just drop out of college right now if I just can get a payout right now. And it's like, the thought process of you chasing money is what actually causes money to run away from you. And it was
Yep.
until that I realized like sort of backwards law, right? In the sense that I started saying to myself that money is abundant to me, right? And I'm no longer chasing it. I'm sort of just accepting it if it comes to me. And that was where everything started falling into place.
Holy sauce, bro. It's so true. It's the same thing in life, bro. Like if you're looking for love, you're not gonna find love, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to build on yourself outside of, that actual goal,
Yeah.
and then you will get to that point. If someone's on the fence about joining PB, what would you tell them?
I would tell them from personal experience, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars going to college, and that piece of paper is hung up on a magnet right now on my fridge. So that piece of paper is doing nothing for me. Whereas joining PB will actually provide you with valuable information, right? It'll provide you with the education needed for you to actually make money out of these markets, right? This is what people go to their JOBs for, right? To make money. So why shouldn't you look at this as an investment, right? Into yourself, understanding that this is just a small fee you have to pay in terms of tuition. You have to educate yourself somehow, right? I mean, there is free education out there, but if you genuinely want to take this seriously, it is most definitely worth it to invest into your education.
I guess any final advice for traders who feel stuck right now and they know they're capable of more. Any final advice for them?
Stop over leveraging.
Yep.
Um, yeah, most traders' issues can be solved by just decreasing size, right? So instead of trading a mini, trade, maybe 5 micros. Besides that, like we said, you have to take this seriously. And it's very easy to not take it seriously, considering, you're by yourself, you roll over out of bed, you're still in your pajamas, and you think you can just like start clicking away and it's gonna come no problem. Like if you want it to pay you right, you have to treat it actually like with respect. And if you don't respect the markets, you're going to get humbled very quickly, right? You're going to have nothing to show for it. Trading is one of those things where the amount of effort you put in doesn't directly correlate to the amount of money that you're making, right? So before I got my first payout, I was putting in like hundreds of hours and I was just looking at TradingView consistently. Even though I'd be out, I would still like open up TradingView on my phone. The same way people open their phone to scroll on TikTok and scroll on Instagram, that was the way I was opening TradingView. And I would
Mm-hmm.
open TradingView and I would just be literally just like chart. Even though I wasn't trading, I was just so involved with the markets, I felt like I needed to have like my finger on the pulse, if that makes sense. Yeah, it just comes down to how bad do you really want it. If you genuinely want this, know that it is possible, right? Me and Blake are here as know that you can actually do this. Understand that manifestation is real, right? Like understanding the law of attraction, like actually go out one day, pull out a journal, write your goals for the year, right? And doing this allows you to actually visualize and not just that, but actually put it somewhere physically into reality. Like you actually wrote it down. It's physical. You could touch it. Understand that in order for those to actually come true, you have to execute properly, right? You have to act accordingly. I'm not going to say like you can just say you want to be a billionaire and then you're going to wake up with $1 billion
You
underneath your
gotta
pillow
act on
like the
that.
tooth fairy. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. You have to actually be willing to put in the work. And if you're on the fence about trading and you don't really want it, then honestly, you shouldn't be trading. At that point, it's not even worth it for you to get involved in these markets, right? Because most traders do lose, right? This is not an easy thing to do. If it was, everybody would be doing it. You don't want something that's easy, honestly, if you've made it this far into the video, right? You
Yeah.
want to be able to say that you are the top 1%. You're doing better than a majority of people, right? There's something about you that sets yourself apart. So honestly, just being able to visualize that and instill the good habits that future profitable you would be doing. Is future profitable you going out every weekend and coming to the markets hungover? Or is future you actually disciplined and doing what they said they were going to do, right? Are you actually, whatever that may be, going to the gym when you say you're going to go, or eating properly, eating healthy, right? If you can't even have the discipline to follow through with your promises to yourself, there's not really much else left to say. You have work to do, not just on the charts, but outside of the charts, right? You need to get your discipline in check. You need to have that patience in check. A lot of people, they think that psychology doesn't play as big of a role as it actually does. It's going to show in your trading. If you're greedy while you're trading, you'll close out your position before it even hits take profit. And, if you're impatient, you're going to be entering before your setup even presents itself. And overall, the markets will be a mirror as to your true psychology. It's going to show you where you're lacking, where you're impatient, where you're greedy, all of these other things, right? And this goes back to journaling. If you really wanted it, you would journal for the day and say, okay, I messed up today. I didn't follow my rules. This is how I didn't follow my rules, but I plan on doing better tomorrow. And if you consistently show up with the idea of instilling good habits and following your rules, you're setting yourself up for success.
Fire, bro.
Bingo,
So
bango.
saucy. So
Drop the
saucy.
sauce.
Hell yeah. Hopefully you guys are fucking listening. I think we should wrap it up with that. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for hopping on and sharing your story, bro, and sharing that sauce. Actually, a really, really good story. Again, guys, this is real results. This is a real person
Yeah,
getting
guys.
actual consistent payouts and making a living from this shit. So super inspiring. Hopefully you guys feel inspired by this. Yeah, if you guys are serious about joining, PB, Refining Your Edge. Everything is linked down below. Other than that, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Jonathan, do you want to shout out any of your socials or anything, or do you not? Are you doing
Um,
that or not?
I'm not really on social media. I mean, my Instagram is NYCJMar. If you want to
All
go
right,
follow me
go
there.
follow him.
I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments if I should start social media. If I should
Hell
start a
yeah,
YouTube or
hell.
something. I don't know.
All right. If you made it this far in the video, I always do this with these videos. What should they comment down below? You let them know, Jamar.
Just motion and riches.
Just motion and riches if you made it this far in the video. Low key, it's going to be Christmas. That comment will be going towards Alpha Futures giveaway. I'll do an Alpha Futures giveaway,
Nice.
and I'll choose a comment from that. So, hell yeah.
Love
Again,
you.
appreciate you hopping on. Jamar or Jonathan, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out, boys.